The man was selected by the system as the only hero who could defeat the Demon Queen. Yet, he picked up a hoe instead, wanting nothing more than to live a peaceful life tending to his vegetable garden. It drove the system mad to the point of breaking down. Seeing this, the man simply said, "How nice." Meanwhile, Elizabeth, the Demon Queen, was no pushover either. Seeing that the hero was not coming to find her, she angrily drew the hero's holy sword herself, intending to find and challenge the hero. Turns out, 15 years ago, in order to unify the hero's continent, Elizabeth had led the demon race to challenge all the other races. In the end, she crushed many races with overwhelming power and became the sole queen of the world. However, just as she was preparing to conquer the human royal city, the human high priest prophesied, "The day the hero pulls out the long sword from the legend will be the end of the demon's reign, and the demon queen will ultimately die by the hero's hand." The high priest's words sparked Elizabeth's interest. So, she announced, "Bring the hero to me for a challenge as soon as he arrives here." In the first year, the hero did not show up, and the demon army waited in vain at the city gate for a year. The second year, he still did not come, and the waiting demon army began to dwindle. The third year, the fourth year, the number of soldiers waiting at the city gate decreased year by year. By the fifth year, not a single demon could be seen outside the city gate. Just like that, 15 years passed in a blink of an eye. By then, under Elizabeth's rule, the hero's continent had entered an unprecedented era of prosperity. Not only was a world free from racial discrimination established, but there was even an anti-hero alliance opposing the arrival of the hero. What's more ridiculous was that the human high priest, who had once prophesied the hero's appearance, had completely become an ardent fan of the Demon Queen. However, as everything was moving in a positive direction, the Demon Queen could not find joy in her heart. For 15 years, she had mobilized all her power to search for the hero, but in the end, she found nothing. For 15 years, I have mastered all the magic of the hero's continent and have already reached the peak of the world. I thought a hero would bring me some fun, so I waited for him to challenge me, but to this day, there's not even a shadow of a hero. Hasn't my preparation over these years become a joke? Since you won't come to me, I will go to you. With that, she gripped the holy sword, and an infinite power surged from the blade. Seeing this, the Demon Queen snorted coldly, erupting in even more terrifying power. Under this force, everyone was gasping for breath. With a powerful beam of light shooting straight into the sky, the holy sword was already pulled out by the Demon Queen. As Elizabeth carefully examined the holy sword, suddenly her consciousness was drawn into a deep mountain by the sword. The scenery in front of her quickly changed, finally settling on a small cabin in a village. "At last, I found you." After saying this, she used abyssal magic to initiate a forced teleportation, instantly disappearing from the Grand Hall. Meanwhile, in the novice village, a man was still happily enjoying his pastoral life. His name was Lu Ping, and he was not originally from this world. In his previous life, he was just an ordinary office worker. His only pleasure was watching the short videos on the way to work. While watching a video of a farmer tilling the fields, he enviously said, "I would be content if I could live a life like this." The next second, he inexplicably found himself transported into this world. Unlike other transmigrants, he didn't show any discontent. Instead, with the help of the system, he quickly adapted to the rural life here and even enjoyed it. But when the system wanted to end the novice tutorial and asked him to step out of the novice village to start his journey as a hero, Lu Ping adamantly refused to leave the novice village, stating that he didn't want to defeat the Demon Queen at all. "I'm quite content in the novice village." And most importantly, the novice village had a time barrier that kept it hidden from the outside world. Thus, his days were filled with farming, hunting, foraging, and meditating. Until one day, the system finally lost its patience. "All you know is to farm, farm, and farm. You refuse to learn any swordsmanship and magic. You are the hero, yet my assisting functions haven't had any chance to be utilized. I'm furious, I hope you get killed by the Demon Queen soon." After saying this, the system broke down completely. However, Lu Ping didn't panic. On the contrary, he felt inexplicably relieved with the quietness. But just then, the sky darkened with rolling clouds and flashes of lightning. Before long, the Demon Queen Elizabeth was teleported over. "The legendary hero, I finally found you." However, To her surprise, Lu Ping started running back quickly. It turned out that he saw it was going to rain and was in a hurry to collect his clothes and dried fish, completely oblivious to the demon queen who had just teleported over. It was his electronic pet dog, Wong Sai, barking madly at the sky that made him notice Elizabeth hovering above. Wong Sai, what is that thing? On hearing this, the demon queen looked displeased. You are really dense, daring to refer to me as a thing. At these words, Lu Ping immediately became flustered and began to apologize profusely. But the demon queen ignored him. To verify whether or not he was the hero, she shot a beam of golden light directly at Lu Ping. Instinctively, he put his hand in front of his face, but the next second, something magical happened. The beam of golden light suddenly bypassed him and landed steadily in his hand. His instinctive response caused him to subconsciously swing the sword in his hand. He then hurriedly tried to throw away the sword, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't let go of it. This guy, who is clearly not even comparable to the lowest-ranking ordinary soldier, how could he be recognized by the holy sword? Could it be that he's hiding his true strength? Thinking this, the demon queen began to chant a spell. I am the strongest demon queen Elizabeth, today I will completely obliterate you. Upon hearing that the demon queen had come for him, Lu Ping was immediately scared into a cold sweat. I've never left here, how did the demon queen still find me? Seeing this, the electronic pet dog immediately shielded him. At this time, the demon queen's abyssal magic had been fully chanted, and several giant meteors emerged from the formation in an instant. It was then that Lu Ping realized that the encounter between the hero and the demon queen was inevitable. It was their destiny. With this realization, he dropped the sword in his hand and, trembling, began to walk towards the house. Up to now, I'm still a newbie, but the boss has come to me. I can only accept my fate now. At least I can choose to die comfortably in bed. Having spent some happy time here is already enough for me. As Lu Ping closed the door, the demon queen was completely infuriated. In her eyes, Lu Ping's smile as he entered the door seemed to say, come at me with all you've got. How dare you, you arrogant fool. With that, she directed the meteors towards the small house. However, at this moment, the electronic pet dog's brain began to work at high speed. Just as the meteor was about to hit, the electronic pet dog returned to normal. Then, its body began to change shape rapidly, and the next second, it activated its battle mode, hanging heavy weapons all over its body. In an instant, countless missiles were launched, colliding fiercely with the meteors in the sky. The demon queen chuckled at this scene. So, this advanced magical tool with awakened sentience is what you're relying on. But in front of me, everything is inferior. With a rolling rumble in the sky, she used an apocalyptic magic, Earth recasting. Immediately, a huge energy ball smashed down again. As Wong Sai radiated energy all over its body, it opened its mouth and shot out a black light ball directly towards the meteor in the sky. The moment the black light ball touched the apocalyptic magic, a quantum black hole was instantly formed. The energy ball began to collapse at a visible speed. As it was swallowed, the sky immediately returned to its previous azure blue, as if nothing had happened. At this moment, Elizabeth wore an expression of disbelief. My apocalyptic magic has actually been dispelled. What on earth did that guy do in the house? What she didn't know was that Lu Ping had already laid down in the house, resigned to his fate. Outside the door, Wong Sai was still barking madly at Elizabeth. Looking at the raging little dog in front of her, Elizabeth started to laugh at herself. I didn't expect that I would be the one looked down upon in the end. With that, her gaze changed, and a terrifying aura suddenly emanated from her. In the blink of an eye, she activated her demon god form. Now, I will show you what real terror is. With that, she accelerated towards Wong Sai. Seeing this, Wong Sai immediately activated its battle mode, and instantly began a great battle with the demon queen. An hour later, Lu Ping had comfortably slept through it all in bed. But when he woke up to find himself still in his own hut, he was stunned. Haven't I died yet? Isn't this still my home? Hearing the silence outside, he nervously approached the door. The demon queen wouldn't be so twisted as to still be waiting outside for me, would she? Then, he cautiously opened the door, only to see dust rolling outside, with a silhouette standing in it. As the dust cleared, the demon queen was badly injured. In her hand, the electronic dog had completely lost its combat capability, with the Demon Queen's fingers embedded in its head. Seeing this scene, Lu Ping called out with concern for Wang Cai. The Demon Queen casually threw Wang Cai aside and began to walk towards Lu Ping, step by step. "I'm sorry, I've destroyed the tool you were so proud of." Looking at the Demon Queen, whose eyes were red and terrifying, Lu Ping immediately became nervous. No problem. Can't we sit down and have a good talk?" Upon hearing this, the Demon Queen coldly responded, "Sure, but only after I kill you." However, as soon as her words fell, a wave of weakness hit her. She hadn't expected that her battle with Wang Cai would exhaust her so much. Then, she collapsed to the ground. Lu Ping, who didn't understand the truth, was worried and quickly went to help Elizabeth up. Just then, the Demon Queen's demon god form started to fade away, leaving Lu Ping completely flustered and at a loss for what to do. Unable to resist the sight before him, he immediately felt a surge of heat, and ended up with a nosebleed. Late into the night, the Demon Queen lay quietly in bed, dressed in Lu Ping's pajamas. Suddenly, she woke with a start, feeling her hands bound. The Demon Queen, with a face full of resentment, thought, "I can't believe I've lost so badly. This guy didn't take the opportunity to kill me, instead he imprisoned me. Does he intend to demonstrate his strength to the world this way?" She tried to gather magic to break the handcuffs, but to no avail. She hadn't expected that there would be another magical tool she had never seen before. Looking around the room, she saw many strange things she hadn't seen before. How much strength is this guy hiding? It seems this hero is much more wicked than I thought. It was my own overconfidence that led to this. As she was deep in thought, Lu Ping walked in carrying dinner. Seeing him, the Demon Queen angrily declared, "If you want to kill me, just do it. I will never bow to someone like you." Hearing this, Lu Ping also looked nervous. "This Demon Queen is too scary, I must seize this chance to survive." Then he explained to the Demon Queen, "The handcuffs are just a precaution, you know how terrifying you are." Hearing this, the Demon Queen thought, "Is he trying to humiliate me?" But at that moment, Lu Ping said, "There must be some misunderstanding between us. I'll remove the handcuffs now, and we can have a good talk." However, everything Lu Ping did was misinterpreted by the Demon Queen. In her eyes, Lu Ping was showcasing his strength, and he didn't take the Demon Queen seriously at all. "If you want to live, let's have a good talk according to my requirements." With a click, Lu Ping directly unlocked the handcuffs on the Demon Queen. The Demon Queen held her wrist but did not resist. Lu Ping thought his sincerity had moved the Demon Queen, but he didn't realize that the Demon Queen was wary of his strength and was waiting for an opportunity to strike back in the future. At that moment, the flustered Lu Ping quickly turned around, seemingly securing his life for now. Everyone might be curious why he didn't take the opportunity to kill her when the Demon Queen was unconscious. First of all, this is a world of swords and magic, and it's completely normal for her, as the Demon Queen, to have a resurrection ability. Moreover, he might be able to kill chickens and fish, but killing a person was something he couldn't do. However, to resolve the conflict between the Demon Queen and the hero, it wasn't necessary to fight and kill. As long as he showed that he posed no threat to her and wanted to befriend her, then he could continue to happily survive. Thinking of this, he started to laugh out loud, which Elizabeth misinterpreted as Lu Ping mocking her weakness. At this time, Lu Ping casually picked up the broken Wang Cai. "It's so damaged, I don't know if it's possible to repair it." Elizabeth tentatively asked, "Is this your most powerful magic tool?" Lu Ping thought to himself, "It's just a little gadget I made when I was bored." But he was afraid that telling the truth would anger the Demon Queen, so he claimed that Wang Cai was his proudest creation in recent years. Hearing this, Elizabeth immediately harbored murderous intentions. "I can use abyss magic to quickly recover my strength, and you have lost the protection of your strongest magical tool. Let me send you on your final journey." With this thought, she stood up and approached Lu Ping. "I'm sorry for breaking your thing." Lu Ping opened the back cover of Wang Cai and said, "It's okay, as long as the memory card isn't damaged." At this point, he was completely unaware that Elizabeth behind him was preparing to use an apocalyptic magic, and he continued to mutter to himself, "There's no need to fix the body." As he said this, he opened a nearby cupboard, which was filled with Wang Cai's. "I made a lot of them before, so you don't have to apologize." Seeing this, Elizabeth, who was just about to take action, was stunned. Lu Ping casually picked one up and inserted the memory card into it, and immediately a vigorous Wang Tsai appeared in front of the Demon Queen. At this moment, it seemed to her that Lu Ping and Wang Tsai were grinning at her, as if they were mocking her overconfidence. The confidence she had just a moment ago disappeared instantly. If it's okay, then that's good. At this moment, she suddenly smelled a fragrant aroma and quickly asked Lu Ping what it was. Seeing this, Lu Ping explained, "I saw you faint earlier, so I made some food to warm you up." Looking at the steaming porridge and dumplings on the table, Elizabeth stubbornly said, "Only the weak need to eat. I have reached a transcendent state and don't need these things." But as soon as she finished speaking, her stomach betrayed her with a growl. Seeing this, Lu Ping immediately wanted to bridge the gap with the Demon Queen through food, and quickly said, "These are all made from natural grains that I grew myself. Please, Demon Queen, honor me by tasting them." Hearing this, Elizabeth tentatively picked up a dumpling and took a small exploratory bite. Seeing this, Lu Ping's heart was in his throat. Although I have confidence in my cooking, given her status as the Demon Queen, would she appreciate these newbie village things? But the next moment, Elizabeth started to pick up the dumplings and put them into her mouth one after another. Until she had finished the whole plate of dumplings, she still looked like she hadn't had enough. "I didn't expect that there would be such delicious food in this world. I almost can't bear to swallow this last bite." But the moment she swallowed the last bite, Elizabeth's eyes widened, her heartbeat suddenly accelerated, and her body began to feel hot, as if a volcano was erupting inside her. She couldn't help but let out a comfortable sound, which made her feel a burst of shame, and she tightly shielded her body. "What on earth did you put in the food?" Seeing this, Lu Ping was also taken aback. "I just added some chili according to my own taste. Does the Demon Queen not eat spicy food?" Hearing this, Elizabeth thought that Lu Ping had done it on purpose. This hero really has no good intentions, so he imprisoned me just to use me for experimental research. At this moment, Lu Ping kindly suggested, "You should try this, it can help alleviate the spiciness." Hearing this, Elizabeth thought to herself, "He poisons me and then gives me the antidote, playing me like a puppet. This is infuriating." But she had no choice right now, the feeling was too uncomfortable. So she scooped up a spoonful of soup and put it in her mouth. The moment the soup entered her mouth, her pupils shrank dramatically. It felt as if she was suddenly submerged in water, extinguishing the heat all over her body, and like basking in a spring breeze, making her feel incredibly comfortable. "This feels so calm, so comfortable." Thoughts of ruling the world, of demon queens and heroes, all conflicts seemed irrelevant to her, letting everything go and being at ease. But it was precisely because of this that she realized how insignificant she was compared to the universe. After this brief epiphany, Elizabeth surprisingly managed to advance and become a 3-star demon queen. "I didn't expect to be brought into a state of enlightenment through food, and under 2 extreme stimulations, my strength has advanced once again." Thinking of this, Elizabeth finally couldn't help but ask, "Stop pretending, what are you trying to do?" Hearing this, Lu Ping scratched his head and said with embarrassment, "I just wanted us to explore together if a demon queen and a hero could try to coexist." But from Elizabeth's perspective, she felt like a toy in Lu Ping's hands. "Only you are worthy to be my research subject in this world. Come on, I will help you become stronger, and then you can try to defeat me." At this point, Lu Ping continued, "Is that okay? I will continue to serve you delicious food." Hearing this, the demon queen was so angry that her veins bulged. In her view, Lu Ping was mocking her, saying that if she wanted to become stronger, she should continue to eat the food he made. He looked forward to seeing if she could eventually defeat him. Thinking of this, Elizabeth sighed helplessly, "Forget it, I can't beat him right now." Seeing this, Lu Ping was sweating coldly. "Forget it, is she still planning to kill me?" But to his surprise, Elizabeth walked straight to the bed and then said from a position of superiority, "Listen to me, I can agree to your terms. However, you should be clear on one thing, I am not afraid of your strength, but I am pursuing the pinnacle of power." Upon hearing this, Lu Ping was totally confused. "Afraid of me? What are you afraid of? You're the demon queen, whatever you say goes, right?" Since the two didn't have telepathy, he interpreted the demon queen's words as, "Don't think that I will be submissive to you just because I am here. My dignity will not allow any infringement, otherwise, I will completely destroy you." Thinking of this, Lu Ping quickly said, "Your Majesty, let's try to get along well in the future." Hearing this, the Demon Queen's eyes became firm. "If you want to research, then go ahead." But Lu Ping interpreted it as, "What other delicious foods are there? I want them all." And so, they spent a year living together, each constantly misunderstanding the other. One day, as usual, Lu Ping was chopping wood with his holy sword, thinking to himself, "What should I do? Things seem to be getting more and more complicated. Ever since Elizabeth destroyed the protective barrier of the newbie village, time here gradually synchronized with the outside world. What's worse, without the protection of the barrier, the newbie village lost its original stealth function, fully exposed to the outside. The monsters that originally wouldn't appear around also gathered. Luckily they feared the Demon Queen and dared not approach, but once the Demon Queen leaves, won't I be completely done for? I need to think of a solution now." Just then, Elizabeth's voice came from inside the house. "Lu Ping, it's time for lunch. Why isn't it ready yet?" Hearing this, Lu Ping immediately panicked. "Understood, I will get it ready right away." Unexpectedly, in just a year, the once slim Demon Queen had turned into a plump homebody. During this year, the Queen spent her days eating, drinking, and having fun, with her beloved potato chips never leaving her hand. Meanwhile, Lu Ping spent every day cooking delicious food for her. The Demon Queen even used her magical wings to fly to the kitchen to eat. Pointing at Lu Ping, Elizabeth said, "What kind of poison did you put in these potato chips you gave me? I always feel that the more I eat, the lazier I become. You plan to numb me with these slow-acting poisons under the guise of delicious food, causing me to completely fall, is wishful thinking." Hearing this, Lu Ping explained helplessly, "Potato chips are high-calorie food, eating too much can easily accumulate fat, naturally making people become lazy." Hearing this, Elizabeth pinched the excess fat on her body, looked at her increasingly large belly, then snapped her fingers, using abyssal magic, and suddenly magical fluctuations emanated from her body. Soon, her figure quickly returned to its original state. It turned out that she had transformed all the fat in her body into magical power. Seeing this, Lu Ping was speechless. He hadn't expected that magic could be used this way. At this time, Elizabeth mocked Lu Ping. "What? Very disappointed, right? Yet another one of your cunning plans has been seen through by me." Hearing this, all Lu Ping could do was awkwardly respond, "Yes, yes, you're right, let's eat quickly." Elizabeth looked at the table full of delicacies, her mouth watering instantly, and in the next second, she picked up a plate and started gobbling up the food. Seeing this, Lu Ping said, "Eat more, I'll make more if it's not enough." Hearing this, Elizabeth's face twisted. Does this guy still think I'm too weak, and wants to fatten me up before killing me? Seeing Lu Ping turn around to get dessert, the Demon Queen angrily slammed the table. "He really thinks he can raise me like a pig. This year, I've broken through several times, I should at least have the ability to challenge you, let's have a decisive battle right now." However, when Lu Ping took out the pudding, Elizabeth's favorite dessert, from the fridge, her eyes immediately lit up. At this moment, her eyes were only on the smooth and delicious pudding, and the decisive battle was long forgotten. Seeing this, Lu Ping breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, this Demon Queen was not so difficult to serve. As long as there was delicious food, she could be calmed down. Meanwhile, outside the barrier, a white-haired old man was running wildly with a young girl, chased by several demons. One demon appeared behind the old man in an instant, and with a swish, used spatial tear magic. Suddenly, space was torn apart, enclosing the two. Just when the old man thought they were doomed, the demon didn't kill them, but instead used magic to create a spatial cage, trapping the father and daughter inside. The old man used all his strength to break the cage, and then told his daughter to run to a safe town nearby. He prepared to stay and hold back the demons. However, his daughter couldn't bear to leave her father behind. Just then, the demon used a powerful move, Ghost Fire. Seeing this, the old man was also prepared to fight to death. He used his strongest attack, Hero Slash, and swung his sword at the demon. In an instant, he split demon into two. However, before they could celebrate, another demon rushed over and absorbed its companion. In the blink of an eye, its strength increased several times. At this time, the daughter shot arrows at the demon fusion. In an instant, two nature arrows sped towards the fusion. However, the arrows hit him but did not cause any damage. Seeing this, the father hurriedly stood in front of his daughter. They are not something you can deal with. I don't know how long I can hold them off. You must go. But just then, the fusion put its hands on the ground and suddenly pounced at the old man. In just the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of the old man. It punched out, and the old man was instantly blown hundreds of meters away. Then with a bang, he hit a rock. Immediately, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, the daughter looked worried. The dying father used all his strength to shout at her, "Don't worry about me, just go." Just then, the remaining demon also came to the fusion's side and quickly merged into the fusion's body. In a short while, the three demons recombined into a new fusion that was 100 meters tall. Seeing this, the girl collapsed on the ground, begging the demon to spare her father. Hearing this, the demon roared and swung its fist down at the father and daughter. Just when the girl thought they were doomed, there was a bang, the ground shook, dust flew, as if a magnitude 5 earthquake had occurred. When the girl looked at the demon again, she was so shocked she couldn't speak. Standing in front of them now was a mammoth lord a kilometer tall. The monster that the demon had fused into earlier had already been trampled into mush by the mammoth, dead beyond dead. At this time, there was a pagoda on the head of the mammoth. In the pagoda stood an immortal frog. "Big brother, the danger has been cleared. What should we do with these two?" The camera zooms in to find that there was actually another building on top of the immortal frog. Wang Tsai came out of his dwelling. "It's forbidden to harm harmless humans. I'll take these two back to the master for handling." The young girl woke up again to find herself lying in bed. She looked around the empty room, noticing strange things she had never seen before. Suddenly, she remembered her seriously injured father, who might not survive for long without timely treatment. Thus, she ran towards the door. But when she opened the door, she found her father striking poses to show off his developed muscles, which instantly confused her, and she couldn't understand what had happened. At this time, Lu Ping clapped his hands and said, "Uncle, it must have taken a lot of time to train like this, right?" The old man calmly stated, "As a warrior, physical fitness is the most basic requirement." Upon hearing this, Lu Ping praised repeatedly, "Is this the warrior profession in another world? It's really amazing." Seeing its master so happy, Wang Tsai happily circled around Lu Ping. But just then, the demon queen kicked him, sending it flying dozens of meters away. "You stupid dog. Who let you bring strangers back without my permission?" Wang Tsai was scared and trembling. The memory of being beaten and destroyed by the demon queen resurfaced in its mind. However, Lu Ping acted as if he hadn't seen what happened, and poked at the old man's muscles with his hand. "Uncle, your muscles are so firm. It's simply amazing." Hearing this, the old man did not hold back and was ready to demonstrate an even more explosive state. The next second, he activated his 100% battle soul burning state, and his clothes exploded instantly. Seeing this, Lu Ping immediately shone his eyes. "Wow, uncle, you are too strong. These muscles are even more impressive than Schwarzenegger's." At this time, the daughter next to him couldn't stand it anymore. "Dad, what are you doing?" The scene immediately became awkward. The old man then noticed that his daughter had woken up. Just as Lu Ping was about to explain, the demon queen suddenly appeared between the two. She stared at the girl unhappily. "Since you're awake, hurry up and leave." As she spoke, she moved towards the girl. "I warn you, I was here first, you better not have any crooked thoughts." With that, she asserted her dominance with her big bust. Seeing the situation, Lu Ping quickly suggested, "It's rare that we have guests at home, let's go inside and talk." Once inside, he poured a cup of barley tea and said, "I apologize, but being in the countryside, I don't have much to offer. This is barley tea I made myself, please have a taste." The young girl picked up the barley tea in front of her and asked, "Dad, is this the miraculous healing potion you mentioned that can heal instantly after drinking?" Hearing this, Lu Ping answered embarrassingly, "That's an exaggeration. I just gave him some cold well water." The demon queen sat unwillingly on the side. What kind of evil experiment is Lu Ping trying to conduct by bringing two weak humans back? Damn it! Can't I satisfy you? At this time, the old man remembered the process of being saved. At the time, Lu Ping was working in the field, and Wang Tsai brought us back to him. Seeing that I was severely injured, Lu Ping gave me some well water right away. Little did I know, the next second I would be full of energy, revived with full health. After finishing, he looked at his daughter. if it weren't for Mr. Lu Ping's help, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to see you again." Upon hearing that the barley tea in the cup was such a valuable item, the young girl didn't know whether she should drink it or not. At this moment, Lu Ping scratched his head and said, "You adventurer speak so nicely. Don't be shy, go ahead and drink." Upon hearing this, the father and daughter didn't hold back anymore and took a sip from their cups. The next second, both father and daughter felt their souls elevated. It was as if they were standing in a golden wheat field, bathing in the golden sunlight, watching the geese flying freely. The old man even shed tears of satisfaction. At this moment, they felt an incomparable satisfaction in their hearts, as if the world was theirs. Meanwhile, in reality, both of their levels had increased by one, even the girl's incredibly thin elf bloodline had awakened, and elf ears had grown out. The father and daughter sighed helplessly, who would have thought that a cup of barley tea would have such an effect. At this point, Lu Ping was about to pour them another cup, but the old man quickly waved his hand to refuse, thinking to himself, "Mr. Lu Ping is really a godly person, we can't stand this kind of torment." However, Lu Ping thought it was because he hadn't been a good host. Although he wanted to serve his guests with drinks and snacks, but all those were occupied by Elizabeth. If he took them, it would anger the Demon Queen. Meanwhile, Elizabeth was sipping her drink and said, "Everything here belongs to me, don't even think about it." Upon hearing this, Lu Ping sighed helplessly, "I'm sorry that I don't have much to offer you. By the way, uncle, how did you get attacked? As you can see, my daughter Elif has an elven bloodline. Elk's mother was a holy woman of the elves, and she was born after we fell in love. But intermarriage with other races is prohibited among the elves," the old man explained. Hearing this, Lu Ping suddenly realized, "So it was the elves who were after you?" At this moment, Elizabeth suddenly spoke, "That's nonsense. The prohibition on intermarriage between races was abolished after the Demon Queen unified the world." The old man continued to explain, "Since Elif's mother was forced to return to the elven Holy Land, I've been living in seclusion with Elif." Upon hearing this, Lu Ping asked, "Did the elves discover your existence and then sent someone to capture you?" Unexpectedly, the old man shook his head, "Since my wife returned to the elves, they have let us go. The ones who are chasing us this time are envoys from the Dark Guild in the Demon Realm." Hearing about the Dark Guild of the Demon Realm, Lu Ping unconsciously turned his gaze to Elizabeth. Seeing this, Elizabeth immediately pointed at Lu Ping and cursed, "What do you mean?" Lu Ping hurriedly begged for mercy, which made her return to her seat. "Explain to me clearly, where did the Dark Guild in the Demon Realm come from? What are they doing with elves?" The old man gritted his teeth and said, "It is said that the Dark Guild is conducting mysterious human body research, attempting to resurrect Elizabeth, the Demon Queen who once unified the world. The elves are one of their materials, and even Elif, who is to awaken the bloodline, has become their target." Though Lu Ping said nothing, he still cast a glance at Elizabeth. "They've named names, and you still say it has nothing to do with you." But the next second, Elizabeth grabbed his clothes. "Don't think I don't know what you're thinking." Lu Ping hurriedly stated, "I know you're being wronged." This calmed her down. "It seems that tremendous changes have occurred outside in just 1 year. Who told you that the Demon Queen is dead?" The old man expressed his confusion. "The Demon Queen has been missing for 500 years. If she were still alive, she should have come back to continue ruling the world long ago." Lu Ping was also very surprised. Clearly, Elizabeth has only been living here for just over a year. Elizabeth, on the other hand, calmly continued to ask, "Did the rumors say how she died?" According to the documents, the Demon Queen was killed by the legendary hero. It is said that the battle lasted for a whole month, and in the end, the hero died along with the evil Demon Queen in order to protect the hero's continent. Upon hearing this, Elizabeth was immediately furious. Just one look from her made the father and daughter feel as if they were in a bloody place. The mere killing intent made them shudder. Then Elizabeth stared at the two and said, "That rumor is false." The old man and his daughter were so scared that they nodded in agreement. At this moment, Lu Ping pointed to himself and said, "She's right, because I am the legendary hero from the stories." The father and daughter were even more shocked. Then Lu Ping looked at Elizabeth and spoke again, "She is the Demon Queen you were talking about." Upon hearing this, the father and daughter duo's brains immediately crashed, spurting out a mouthful of blood. However, Elizabeth seemed a bit upset after hearing this. In her eyes, it seemed like Lu Ping was mocking her. "Look, this is the Demon Queen in your mouths. She's imprisoned here by my truly. Go ahead and laugh at her. At this point, Elizabeth slammed the table. Enough. Stop talking. Afterward, she silently turned and left. Stupid Lu Ping. Did you save these people just to humiliate me? It's too much. With a bang, she slammed the door shut. Seeing this, the old man let out a sigh of relief. Mr. Lu Ping, sorry for the disturbance. What are your plans now? For a moment, Lu Ping also became flustered, stating that he needed to calm down first. It seems that it was Elizabeth who broke the time barrier, causing the time here to become chaotic and disorderly, until it completely synchronized with the outside world. 500 years have already passed. In the middle of the night, the father and daughter lay on the bed and discussed in whispers. I didn't expect the truth from 500 years ago to be like this. The Demon Queen actually fell in love with the legendary hero, just like the experience of you, Mom and Dad. Lower your voice. We are not in a position to compare ourselves with them. When Mr. Lu Ping said he needed to calm down, he was probably deciding whether to let me go, the old man warned. But if Mr. Lu Ping wanted to kill us, why did he save us in the first place? What do you understand? These big personalities can help us break through to the advanced stage with the sacred tea and also snuff us out casually. In their eyes, we are no different from ants. Whether they want to kill or spare us depends entirely on their mood. Just as the father and daughter were talking, footsteps suddenly came. Lu Ping appeared in the room without them knowing when he arrived. You're still awake this late. What are you up to? The next second, he pulled out a deck of playing cards, indicating that he wanted to play cards with them. Upon hearing this, the old man looked puzzled, thinking to himself, Mr. Lu Ping is testing us, deciding whether or not to kill us. As Lu Ping was explaining the rules to them, the Demon Queen used her invisibility spell and quietly entered the room. She wanted to see what Lu Ping was up to. After the father and daughter understood the rules, Lu Ping signaled that they could start dealing the cards. At this moment, Evil sensed an ominous aura from the playing cards and asked Lu Ping what the name of this game was. Hearing this, Lu Ping realized that the concept of playing cards doesn't exist in this world. He quickly thought on his feet and said that this game is called Dragon Fight. Upon hearing the name, the father and daughter were taken aback. The invisibly lurking Demon Queen was also very surprised, as dragons are quite formidable creatures in this world. At this point, Lu Ping further explained, based on the hand you draw, you can choose to be the hero or the dragon. The two heroes must unite and work together to defeat the dragon. Hearing this, the father and daughter exchanged a glance. Mr. Lu Ping is indeed testing us. To them, it seemed as if Lu Ping was warning them, your lives are in your own hands. Think carefully before you make a choice. Initially, the father and daughter thought that the game was just scary in name, but as soon as they touched the cards, they instantly entered the realm, as if they were in an ocean of magic. Elif simply picked up the cards and lost all her magical power. She looked apologetically at her father, indicating she had tried her best. Seeing this, her father comforted her worriedly, it's okay, leave the rest to Dad. At this point, Lu Ping looked at the cards in his hand and asked if anyone wanted to be the dragon. Without thinking, the father and daughter hurriedly shook their heads to refuse. Lu Ping looked at his cards. Even though the hand didn't contain many big cards, it was still a good one, boasting both the big and small jokers. If he could get another 4 and 2 aces, he could secure this round. So he decided to take a gamble, flipped his whole cards over, and found an 8, a 10, and a queen. Seeing this, Lu Ping immediately showed a look of disappointment. But to the father and daughter, it seemed that Lu Ping was not quite satisfied with their performance. In the midst of their contemplation, Lu Ping played an 8, and then urged the old man to play. The old man stared at the cards and pondered for a while, as long as we can pass this test, Mr. Lu Ping should let us go. But the next second, his pupils dilated, and he saw that his finger that drew the card was surrounded by magical power, and it quickly withered as soon as he played. It turned out that each time a card was played, it was at the cost of life force. Seeing this, Elif looked at her father with a worried expression, but the old man gritted his teeth, indicating that he was fine and wouldn't let Elif play. In order not to let her father down, Elif chose to pass. Lu Ping looked at his cards and started thinking. Apart from the pair of jokers, he had a straight from 7 to queen, 3 4s with a pair of 5s, and only 10 and J left. If he split the pair of aces, he would be in a passive position if the opponent played a 2. So, he also chose to pass. Upon hearing this, the old man looked incredulous. Is Mr. Lu Ping deliberately making me play to deplete my life force? With the current situation, I can only try to play all my cards as soon as possible. According to the rules, this combination of cards should be called Flying Dragon, and the old man played a Flying Dragon. The moment the cards hit the ground, the old man's right leg also quickly withered. At the same time, a giant energy dragon emerged. The father and daughter were shocked at this scene. Then, the dragon slowly gathered energy in its mouth, and a powerful blast was released, descending from the sky and landing on Lu Ping, after which the dragon slowly dissipated in the air. It turned out that playing a combination of cards would initiate an attack. The old man was immediately scared into a cold sweat for attacking Lu Ping. But as the energy dissipated, Lu Ping was unscathed and still looking at his cards, thinking about his strategy. After some thought, he ultimately decided to pass, then signaled for the old man to continue. The old man, trembling, reached for his cards, and at the cost of a middle finger, played a 3. Seeing this, Elif once again chose to pass. At that moment, Lu Ping finally played a 10. The father and daughter unanimously chose not to play. Seeing this, Lu Ping gave a hee-hee smile, then played a straight from 6 to queen. As soon as the cards touched the ground, they instantly set off surging energy fluctuations. The old man looked up to see a massive wave appearing out of thin air, crashing down on them. In the blink of an eye, they were swallowed up. Just as the father and daughter were about to suffocate, the magic finally dissipated. They immediately said, "I can't play." At this time, Lu Ping played a full house. The next second, a carriage appeared in the sky, charging towards the father and daughter. Just as the old man despairingly said "I pass," Elif on the side finally chose to take action. Despite her father's opposition, she also played a full house. In an instant, another carriage appeared, colliding head-on with Lu Ping's carriage. The next second, the two carriages collided violently, with Lu Ping's carriage quickly dissipating, leaving only the carriage summoned by Elif. At this time, the old man, wearing a worried face, asked his daughter, "Elif, are you okay?" Upon hearing this, Elif steadfastly signaled that she was fine. Lu Ping didn't expect that Elif, who was playing cards for the first time, would be so gutsy, so he praised, "Breaking up your own cards at the right time is also about protecting your teammates. The most important thing in Fight Dragon is determination." Hearing this, the old man seemed to understand something. Determination. It seems Mr. Lu Ping is intentionally reminding us. However, at this time, Lu Ping revealed a cunning smile. "Too bad you realized it too late." Upon hearing this, both the father and daughter looked surprised. Even the demon queen had a bad premonition. Lu Ping pulled out 2 cards, then slammed the pair of jokers onto the ground. Rocket. In an instant, a 100-meter-long spatial crack appeared in the void, followed by a pair of sharp claws reaching out from inside. Before long, a grotesque clown king crawled out from the crack. The sight of this scared the father and daughter into trembling, and the hidden demon queen on the side also wore a face of disbelief. This clown king turned out to be the legendary 3-star Supreme Demon Clown King. At this moment, the clown king teasingly made a heart gesture towards the father and daughter, then turned its head in the direction of the demon queen. "What are you sneaking a peek at?" It turns out it sensed Elizabeth spying on them as soon as it appeared. Then, it transformed the heart in its hand into a dagger, gave a lick on the dagger with a hiss, "Be careful, I might just kill you." Upon hearing this, the demon queen prepared to use magic. "I has put down my dignity to accept nourishment for some time, barely reaching the 3-star demon god stage. I didn't expect Lu Ping, this guy, to summon one so casually." At this time, the old man comforted his daughter, "Elif, I'm sorry, this time your father really can't do anything." Upon hearing this, Elif also said, "Don't blame yourself, Dad. The blame rests on me for angering Mr. Lu Ping." But just then, the old man suddenly spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. He felt his life force rapidly draining away, and the cards in his hand were inadvertently exposed. Upon seeing this, Lu Ping hurriedly asked if the old man was okay. Could it be that the injury from before hasn't healed yet? At this moment, he noticed the cards in the old man's hand, 4 kings and 3 threes. Lu Ping's mood instantly plummeted. With the old man's cards, he could have won a long time ago. He was just going easy on me and playing with me. I naively thought I was very powerful, but in reality, I was disturbing others' rest. With these thoughts, he put down his cards, and the Clown King's figure disappeared in an instant. After tidying up the cards, he waved goodbye to the father and daughter. It's getting late, you two should rest early. Then, he walked out of the room dejectedly. Seeing this, the father and daughter slumped to the ground in relief. We didn't expect to survive this. The legendary hero is really unfathomable. At this time, the Demon Queen was grinding her teeth in rage. Damn Lu Ping, playing cards with these two humans was just a pretense. The real intention was to use the opportunity to warn me. Early the next morning, the father and daughter prepared to leave. Seeing this, Lu Ping still wanted to keep them for a couple more days, stating that the fruits he planted would ripen soon. Upon hearing this, the old man deeply bowed. We will never forget Mr. Lu Ping's great kindness. Rest assured, we won't talk irresponsibly after we leave. Elif was also very grateful for the gift Lu Ping gave them. Seeing that the old man and Elif insisted on leaving, Lu Ping stepped forward and held his hand. Take this as a memento. When the old man saw it was the deck of cards from last night, he looked at Lu Ping in surprise. This might not be appropriate. Hearing this, Lu Ping said it was okay. After all, my card skills are too poor. I'm not cut out for playing cards. Just then, the Demon Queen suddenly walked up to Lu Ping. The old man was startled upon seeing this. The Demon Queen then mouthed at him,
"Hurry up and get out of here."
The next moment, the old man pulled a leaf and ran out as fast as they could. Lu Ping didn't even get a chance to say goodbye before the father and daughter had already run a kilometer away. Seeing this scene, Lu Ping was completely bewildered. At this point, the Demon Queen turned around and walked into the courtyard. Alright, everything is back to normal, go make some food for me. At this point, Elif was dizzy and hastily signaled to the old man that they could stop. Upon hearing this, the old man, panting heavily, stopped. First, there was the game test by the legendary hero, and then there was the threat of the Demon Queen. It was simply too thrilling. As it turns out, last night, just after Lu Ping left the room, the Demon Queen appeared in front of them and swung an attack at them. In an instant, a red line traced across their necks. They touched their necks in fear but found nothing wrong, just a curse mark appeared on their necks. Then, the Demon Queen spoke. I command you to leave here tomorrow and not to divulge any information about the hero and me to the outside world. If you harbor any thoughts of disobeying me, the curse mark on your neck will immediately decapitate you. Hearing this, the father and daughter nodded repeatedly in fear, fearing that the Demon Queen would kill them if she was displeased. As it turns out, the truth of the battle between the hero and the Demon Queen was like this. They were tired of the conflicts in the world, and in order not to be disturbed, they chose to live in seclusion here. At this point, Elif remarked that this place looked familiar. Hearing this, the old man looked around and realized they had unwittingly run back to the spot where Wang Tsai had saved them, and the corpse squashed by the Mammoth Lord was still there. Realizing this, the old man felt a sudden tightness in his heart. We need to leave here quickly, one never knows if high-level demons will appear around here. Meanwhile, Wang Tsai was crouching in the distance, watching them. It fearing that the father and daughter would backtrack, had intentionally led them to this location when they were running away. At this moment, Wang Tsai sensed something approaching, but the next second, it farted a portal. If I save them again, who knows if that crazy woman will tear me apart. Tsai, good luck to you both. With that, he dove straight into the portal. As soon as Wang Tsai left, countless shadows appeared in front of the father and daughter. The leader of the group was a demon with 2 horns, and beneath him were several lesser demon minions. The old man recognized the strongest among them as the Great Apostle, possessing the strength of a 2-star Great Demon Spirit. In this world, magic levels are classified as Magician, Mage, Grand Mage, Demon Spirit, Great Demon Spirit, Demon Sect level, Demon Sovereign level, Demon King level, and the strongest Demon God level. The old man and Elif were only 3-star Grand Mage and 1-star Grand Mage, respectively, 2 major ranks lower than their enemy. Seeing this, Elif urged her father to run away, while she was ready to deal with these demons. Hearing this, the old man angrily stated, yes, the gap in strength is indeed large, but what do these apostles count for after seeing the realm of those 2? With that, he took out the playing cards that Lu Ping had given him. As Mr. Lu Ping said, the most important thing is determination. You should know that your dad was once a hero known as Iron-Hearted Bess. Feeling the powerful magic power on the card, the charging demons all stopped. Even the strongest great demon spirit couldn't help but feel a chill. Daughter, ever since your mother returned to the elf clan, Dad has become somewhat timid when raising you alone. Until now, I've realized my mistake. Running away doesn't work. If I can survive this time, I'll take you to the elf clan and bring your mother back home for a reunion. Having said that, he activated his magic power and drew 4 fours. For bomb card summon. The next second, the arrow god descended, and a giant elf figure appeared behind the father and daughter. Elif looked closely, and the appearance of this elf goddess was strikingly like her mother. The old man shouted and played his cards. Instantly, a bow appeared in the goddess's hand. Then, she notched an arrow, ready to attack. With a whoosh, the arrow, carrying terrifying energy, rushed towards the enemy. In the blink of an eye, the arrow pierced the enemy's head in front, then continued its path towards the great demon spirit. The great demon spirit arrogantly tried to catch the arrow with one hand. But the moment it touched it, it realized something was wrong. Then its other hand also hurriedly grabbed the arrow. Its body began to tremble as it desperately resisted. However, after resisting for less than 2.5 seconds, its head was also pierced with a bang. As the old man took back the card, the phantom of the elf goddess gradually dissipated in the air. The old man also fell to his knees due to the massive consumption of magic power. It seems I should change my profession. Fortunately, in the end, I finally understood the hint Mr. Lu Ping gave me. Determination is the real key element to bring out the power of the cards. Because the old man mastered the use of playing cards, from then on, a new magical profession was born on the hero's continent. Card Master.